Rajendra Prasad, Brij Kishore Babu, Maulana Majrohul Haq, and several other prominent lawyers had arrived from Bihar. They conferred with Gandhi. Rajendra Prasad, Brij Kishore Babu, Maulana Majrohul Haq, and many other leading lawyers had come from Bihar. They discussed with Gandhiji what would they do if he was sentenced to prison. Gandhi asked them what would they do if Gandhi was arrested and he was sent to prison. Why? The senior lawyer replied they had come to advise and help him. One of the senior lawyers said that they had come there to advise him and help him. If he went to jail, there would be nobody to advise and they would go home. So the purpose of their arrival was to advise Gandhiji. If Gandhiji was arrested and he would go to jail, there would be no one, so they would also go back to their homes. What about the injustice to the sharecroppers? Gandhi demanded. Gandhi asked. They would go back to their homes. Then what about the injustice which is being done to sharecroppers? The lawyers withdrew to consult. They set to discuss. Rajendra Prasad has recorded the upshot of their consultations. Rajendra Prasad has recorded the upshots means conclusions of their discussion. They thought, what he has written, that they thought amongst themselves that Gandhi was totally a stranger. All of the lawyers sat and they discussed that Gandhi did not belong to their district, and yet he was prepared to go to prison for the sake of peasants. Even then, he was ready to go to prison for the welfare, for the justice of the peasants. If they, on the other hand, being not only residents of the adjoining districts, all the lawyers, they were the residents of the nearby districts, but also those who claimed to have served these peasants should go home, it would be shameful desertion. They thought they are not only the residents of their nearby villages, districts, but they have claimed that they were serving these peasants for many years. So if they will go back, it would be very shameful act. They accordingly went back to Gandhi. They discussed amongst themselves and then they went back to Gandhi and told him they were ready to follow him into jail. The battle of Champaran is won, he exclaimed. Who exclaimed? Gandhi. Gandhi was very much happy. When lawyers decided to follow Gandhiji, he was very much happy and he exclaimed, he said with happiness that now the battle of Champaran is won. Now the battle of Champaran is won. Then he took a piece of paper, Gandhiji took a piece of paper and divided the group into pairs. He made the pairs of the lawyers and put down the order, write down the serial order in which each pair was to court arrest. The order in which every pair will get themselves arrested by the court. Several days later, Gandhi received a written communication from the magistrate informing him that the lieutenant governor of the province had ordered the case to be dropped. After many days, Gandhiji got one written communication from the magistrate, and the magistrate had informed him that the lieutenant governor of the province, means that area, had ordered the case to be dropped, the case to be cancelled. Civil disobedience has triumphed the first time in modern India. When this case was cancelled, when this case was dropped, it means that civil disobedience, the majority, when ready to disobey the government, it is called civil disobedience. So this was in the history of modern India that civil disobedience had got the victory. Gandhi and the lawyers now proceeded to conduct a far-flung inquiry into the grievances of the farmers. Gandhi and the lawyers now began to conduct a widely spread inquiry into the complaints of the farmers, into the sufferings of the farmers. Depositions by about 10,000 peasants were written down and notes made on other evidence. Documents were collected. The whole area throbbed with the activity of the investigators and the vehement protests of the landlords. They started collecting the facts, they started noting down the views, evidences, and the documents were collected, and the whole area got on active with the activity of the investigators, and there was the protest from the side of landlords. In June, Gandhi was summoned to Sir Edward Gate, the lieutenant governor. Before he went, he met leading associates and again laid detailed plans for civil disobedience if he should not return. Gandhiji was called to Sir Edward Gate. He was the governor, and before he went to meet him, he again made a plan. If he did not return, then how they will follow the order of civil disobedience. Gandhi had 4 protracted interviews with the lieutenant governor, who as a result appointed an official commission of inquiry into the indigo sharecropper situation. Gandhi had 4 protracted means long interviews with the lieutenant governor, who as a result appointed an official commission of inquiry into the indigo sharecropper situation. The commission consisted of landlords, government officials, and Gandhi as a sole representative of the peasants. Who were the members of that commission? The landlords, government officials, and Gandhi was the only one representative of the peasants. Gandhi remained in Champaran for an initial uninterrupted period of 7 months and then again for several shorter visits. Gandhi remained in Champaran for 7 months uninterrupted without any break. In continuation, he was there for 7 months and then for several short visits he paid to Champaran. The visit, undertaken casually on the entry of an unlettered peasant in the expectations that it would last a few days, occupied almost a year of Gandhi's life. The very first visit was that was taken on the request. Entity means the plea, the request of an unlettered means illiterate peasant. Who was that peasant? Rajkumar Shukla. It was expected that it would last a few days, but that visit took almost a year of Gandhi's life. Official inquiry assembled a crushing mountain of evidence against the big planters. After the inquiry, there were many evidences against the big planters, and when they saw this, they agreed in principle to make refunds to the peasants. When big planters came to know that there are many evidences against them, they were ready to make the payments back to peasants. But how much must we pay? They asked Gandhi. Their question was how much amount they should pay to peasants. They thought he would demand repayment in full of the money which they had illegally and deceitfully extorted from the sharecroppers. Their expectations was that Gandhi would demand the complete payment which they had illegally means without any law and deceitfully means by deceiving someone. Extorted means taking forcefully from the sharecroppers. They thought Gandhi would demand the complete payment which they had taken from the poor peasants illegally and deceiving them. He asked only 50%, but what Gandhi asked for 50% payment only. There he seemed adamant, means they thought now he is very much adamant, he is firm, he will not go back. Writes Reverend J. Hose, a British missionary in Champaran who observed the entire episode at close range. Reverend means respected J. Hose, who was a British missionary in Champaran. He had observed the complete episode at very close range, means very closely he had observed. He wrote that Gandhi seemed very firm, very much determined to take 50% of the payment. Thinking probably that he would not give way, the representatives of the planters offered to refund the extent of 25%, and to his amazement, Mr. Gandhi took him at his word. Thinking probably, they thought that he would not give way, means he will not follow them, he will not give any relaxation to them. The representative of the planters offered to refund only 25%, and to his amazement, to his surprise, Mr. Gandhi took him at his word. Took him at his words means accepted, thus breaking the deadlock. Thus, in this way, Gandhi broke the deadlock. Gandhi brought this episode to an end. Means Gandhiji accepted 25% of the money. This settlement was adopted unanimously by the commission. Unanimously means all agreed. So, all the members of the commission were agreed to pay 25% of the principal. Gandhi explained that the amount of the refund was less important than the fact that the landlords had been obliged to surrender part of the money and with it part of their prestige. Gandhiji explained why did he agree at 25%. He explained that amount of the refund was not very much important. What was important for him, that first time the landlords were agreed to surrender themselves. They were agreed to surrender not only the money but their own reputation also. Therefore, as far as the peasants were concerned, the planters had behaved as lords above the law, because up to now they were behaving just they are the lords. The landlords, the planters were the lords and they were above the law even. Now the peasant saw that he had rights and defenders. Now the sharecropper was able to realize that he had some rights and there are people who would protect him. So they learned courage. They became confident. They got the courage